Hi guys, Johnny Good here for realhomestudio.com. Today with another stock music walkthrough. Today we're looking at how to put together and compose some high energy acoustic folk. Just before we dive straight in, I want to remind you guys, please like and subscribe up to the channel. If you've got something to say, please do drop it down in the comments box below. Okay, let's dive straight into this high-energy acoustic folk piece. Of course, this is a piece of stock music. Acoustic folk does really well in stock music, so if you play, that's a really big advantage. If you play a stringed instrument, you play guitar, that also then opens you up to be playing banjo and ukuleles and lots of different strung instruments, mandolins and things, which you can have a lot of fun with in the studio. And of course, these principles that I'm going to show you today of how I've composed and put together this stock music doesn't just have to stay within stock music. It can be really useful for making yourself folk music from your home studio. So let's just dive straight into this piece, and it kicks off with some double-tracked acoustics. Just half pan left and right, and into that next part of progression we've got some kick drum, and we've got a bit of piano, bass guitar. Now, as I'm building onto this part, I should say, as of my last stock walkthrough as well, there were claps. I pretty much have claps in all of my stock music, but the clap machine plugin doesn't work in Big Sus, so it hasn't translated. So as I'm looking back on tracks, that plugin's missing. So you have to imagine the claps once again if you watched my previous stock music walkthroughs. But what I wanted to show you guys is how I'm just building there. Now, as I mentioned, as we were looking through, there's some piano, some bass, some kick drum going on. But in terms of the rhythm section, I've added a number of acoustic instruments. And this is a really great technique, which is really easy to do if you play. As I say, grab yourself a ukulele or a banjo. They're pretty inexpensive instruments and really handy in the home studio just to add a lot of rhythmic width. You can really build up a really good band sound with these instruments, and they tend to stack on top of each other very nicely. So for example, the ukulele here, which just sounds great, sits just naturally really nicely with the strum guitar. You don't really have to do too much, but already you're filling that sound out, and it gives you that option of light and shade. You can have with a uke, without uke, and the more instruments you bring in, it gives you a range of light and shade that you can bring into your track. So I've also got some banjo here too. And the other thing that's going to happen in this track here is also utilizing your acoustic guitar. So you don't have to obviously be just stuck down at the end of the guitar playing your open chords. You can arrange some, say, triads or some chords elsewhere on the guitar. You can also capo your guitar, so you change the chord shapes as well. That a lot of duos and bands will do that if you've got two guitars going on, so you get a much thicker sound. But for this recording, I've got two high acoustic guitars. Have a listen, which sound kind of like triads right up the neck. So with the other acoustic, they sit together really nicely. Bring in the banjo and the uke. And you've got that really full-on kind of folk sound, creating a folk band in your home studio. Let's just unsail all those and listen to that section all together. And I've also got a little lead line going on here as well, so we've got a little lead acoustic. I've got some bells going on as well there, courtesy of BBC Symphony Orchestra. Okay, so let's skip on to the next section. This is just a very simple breakdown. A bit of choir in there, courtesy of Labs from Spitfire Audio. Just single chords, then we're just building the track up. Plus a tambourine. Having all those options as well on the stringed instruments are great for breaks and transitions, because you can come back down to a ukulele or a banjo, and when you bring that guitar back in again, everything really lifts. Another whooshy transition there. Some organ going on. Just kind of brings and glues everything together a bit. A little bit of a counter melody at the end. And there's the end of the track. So really what I wanted to show you from that video is just how you can blend those instruments when you're putting together a sort of a folk band kind of piece from your home studio, and you can do so much just with a couple of different instruments. The ukulele I use was really inexpensive. It's a vintage ukulele. It was about, I think, about £20, so really, really inexpensive. And that's absolutely fine for, you know, home studio, just using different instruments for effect. Again, the banjo, which I've done a review of actually on this channel, is a 6-string as well, so it's really good for guitar players as well. It's a really neat kind of instrument to have hanging around, just to get different sounds if that's the kind of music you're into and looking to create. Hope that video was useful for you guys today. If it was, please remember to like, subscribe, up to Real Home Studio. Most importantly, guys, go have yourselves a great day.